Hello everyone. Today, on the occasion of World Mental Health Day, we present to you an initiative that we have taken to have an interactive session with our students of our school on the topic Learning Sans Physical School. As we all know, the effectiveness of classroom and e-learning often becomes an issue of debate. While one is a real-time interaction with an instructor and the other allows learning at one's own pace in a flexible manner. In this session, we will be focusing on positive and negative challenges that our students are facing due to the sudden shift in the learning.
Well, I won't deny the fact that learning is not happening. Learning is happening, but it is with a certain sort of hindrance in between, right? So I was just reading through and I was speaking to a few children, and also connecting with them made me understand that not everything is easy for them. So for some people, they really miss that connection with teachers, right? Some people, it's like for a very few, they really like the virtual setup of learning. For some, it's like wish we could meet our friends, wish we could have some more discussions, wish we could run around the corridors during the break time and have some fun, go meet teachers and have some good time with them. So, well, all of it is like a give and take process, right? So today's session, I would be talking about where how your real time interaction and your virtual interactions has been, right? So any doubts over here? If you guys have any questions, let's start discussing. Let's make it really interactive and see as to if you have certain ideas or you have certain concerns, please put across here, okay? And let's see how we can take it forward.
Could I start with a doubt?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, after 6 months of online class, one of the things I've noticed is that I really miss the interaction with students and running in the corridors and things, as you said. All those have become a cherished memory now.
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, so I've been finding it tough to have a good one-to-one connection with my friends. And ma'am, we've tried to make chat rooms and meetings like how we are doing right now, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not been the best experience. Ma'am, so if you could suggest a few ways to execute that in a good manner, I think that would be a really good suggestion from your side.
So my question over here is whether are you talking about in terms of meeting them in a casual manner or in terms of the classroom manner?
Ma'am, in a casual manner, like how we meet our friends during lunch breaks and breaks like that, like that.
Okay, so if possible, if you get some time, do you make an effort to go out and meet your friends, whoever is close by?
I've tried to avoid as much contact with outside, because of this pandemic. So
Yes.
that's not a possibility right now.
Okay. How about creating WhatsApp groups, having chats?
And we've tried that, but it's not been the greatest experience
Mm-hmm.
because oftentimes most people are not online, and it's tough to sort of organize an event where we can all have interactions. So
True,
I would
true.
really like to have a suggestion from your side.
Hmm. Well, that's quite challenging because, at this time we would have tried everything possible, and be it WhatsApp, be it Google Meet, be it on Zoom chat, which, excess of usage kind of went, Zoom went crashing, and, the whole situation. Well, um, since we cannot do much, but I would like you to be really interactive. Just because others are not interacting as much, your spirit of interaction should not go down. Eventually, what happens is when we are close to, we have a set of group, we are a set of group of people, right? When we are in school, we are a group of five people, we are a group of three people, we are a group of eight people. So what happens is we are really close knit when we are around each other. So the friendship is, friendship has to go through its thick and thin, and this is the kind of phase where you have to adjust. If you are eventually moving away from each other, well, you cannot avoid, you cannot control that happening, but whoever is close to you and is in the certain environment, just try to enjoy in that particular moment. That will help you keep on going further on. because maybe today we have Wi-Fi and connectivity, we have mobile data. Well, not everyone would have, right? So maybe not everyone has the same kind of internet connectivity. Now, say for example, it rained some time back, right? So how everyone faces certain kind of network issues, but still the best thing what we could do is take the risk and come on a platform and see, now we are having a discussion, right? So go ahead with how much ever is possible to give it at that particular moment, because as humans we are tend to expectations, right? We tend to expect things from others. We tend to keep expectations that sometimes don't meet, and we are kind of disappointed, right? So my only suggestion over here, I hope it satisfies your question, that try to live in the moment as much as possible. Don't wait for others. If they if they happen to join in between, welcome them. But rather, if you have planned something, just go ahead with that, right? Yes. Any more questions? I hope this really answers what your query was, Rohan.
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Great, great. Yes, dear. Anyone else?
Evening, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
So the interactiveness of the class has come down, and that is not working out for either the students or the teachers, and that is making classes dull. The teachers and students are very cranky. So, is there anything we can do for that?
Well, when during this pandemic, where the virtual learning has come to just one platform, where, even though we have different branches, we all are on the same platform as of now, right? So here, of course, as I said, there's always a give and take process. You have to compromise somewhere to gain something, right? But on the other hand, you can connect to your teachers. I'm pretty sure you have extra classes or somewhere where you get to meet your teachers after maybe class hours. You have their numbers, WhatsApp numbers, or you have their email ID, right? So try connecting with them on that platform, and maybe if you guys can have one session where you can have fun, right? Be it on your Google Classroom platform, or maybe on WhatsApp call, or through any other platform. So, uh, like cumulatively, the whole class can get together. Just write a mail, or in your Google chat, just put across saying, we really miss our class and the fun time that we used to have in our class. Can we just have it once again, so that we all can feel that connectedness? Try playing games. So well, I conduct fun sessions for teachers, and it turns out to be really nice, is because we how do I put it across? We receive each other with a blank slate on that particular day. We never come with an agenda as to, okay, this has to be done. This is how I'm going to conduct it. Of course, the agenda of how to conduct is always there, but how far you go with it is all in your hand. It's all in that particular moment, right? So the games that you play, makes a lot of difference. It kind of helps you in terms of reconnecting with each other. So for example, I played this game called as bucket list, virtual bucket list game, where everyone had to write at least five bucket lists, five things that make their bucket list for the current future, where even be it after the pandemic, or be it in a pretty long term or short term goal. So when they came out and told, this is my bucket list and this is how I want to do it, it was so nice because it eventually helped each other connect. So, for example, someone said, I really like doing Zumba. And there was another teacher who said that, even I'm planning to go for Zumba classes. So, that was a platform I could connect two of them to help each other go for Zumba classes and motivate each other in terms of whatever results they are looking forward to, whether it is fun, whether it is just to enjoy the dance, or whether it is for whether they want to lose weight or gain weight, however possible. So that you need to take that initiative. Maybe Debosmita, you can be one of them to initiate it, so that your class can get together, you can have a fun session, maybe one of the Saturdays or maybe one of the weekends where you don't have any classes. Once your exams are over, probably you can during your holidays, the few days of holidays that you would be getting after your exams, you can connect during that time. Take some time out, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, take that time out and have fun with them, so that when you get back to each other, these are the small moments that will remind you that how much you respect this person, not because of who they are, but because of what their experience is and what they have shared with you on the platform, where people find having connections really difficult, right? I hope you're happy with the answer.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for the nice question. Let's go ahead with the next question.
Ma'am, so good evening, first of all. And
Good evening.
so I have is like a doubt. So basically, obviously, we've been at home for like such a long time, and like living within those four walls, it has become like so boring. And there are just these days where it's so demotivating that you feel, you feel so uncertain about what's gonna happen. So, like, what do do you have any suggestions on, what we can do to, cheer ourselves up on, those kind of days where we feel so demotivated?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Aditi, for this beautiful question, because during the lock time, for a certain period of time, even I was going through this phase as to what do I do? What do I do? I'm kind of getting bored. We cannot go outside. We cannot stay inside for a very long time. Once the lockdown started unlocking phase by phase, uh, even though my motivation was to go outside and meet people and see people, of course we couldn't do that. So meanwhile, during that time, I came across something called as thought logging, or having a thought journal, or having a bullet journal with you, where I'm a person who likes planning, and I love having journals and things like that. So what I did, I added one more book extra to it, where I call that book as my brain dump, where I put ideas, I put all kind of logs. In fact, even my gratitudes, I write it in that. So what happens is, this is kind of, it keeps you going as to, okay, yesterday was not that good, but you will always, once you jot those thoughts down, once you have written all those thoughts down, you will see that, okay, at least I did something today that will motivate you to do something more tomorrow. So that, when you write down your journal, or when you write down your thought log, you will have a lot of things to actually put down, pen down. And just because I wanted to write in that book gave me a motivation to, make sure that I at least try my level best to experience something new. So, for example, after my work hour is done, when I'm really exhausted, I want to have some fun. What do I do? You have these games on your phone. So I'm pretty sure you might be knowing about this Ludo game, which is on phone. You can connect to people, and then even if you don't have any family members free at that point of time, you have a lot of people who are available online with whom you can play a game and relax, have fun at that particular moment, even if you don't know that particular person. So I do that, or probably I happen to just connect or talk to a new person. I'm giving my examples because I personally put this into happening, as to, for me as a person, staying at home is a task. I love connecting to people. I love talking to people, be it young children, or be it elderly people, or be it our age people. I just love connecting with people, and that was something very disappointing, that I couldn't connect with them. So eventually, when I started doing this, it kind of started motivating me to do something better every day. So what I do is I have made one portion in my thought log where, apart anything unique apart from the usual you learn today. So every day you tend to learn something new, right? You Google so many things. So whatever you Google is kind of a new thing for you, right? Why are you Googling? Because you did not know about it, right? When you learn something new, write that thing down. So what happens is you feel that enthusiasm that, oh really, I did something today. So you tend to self appreciate yourself, right? And once eventually this becomes like a habit, maybe third day, fourth day, when you really start enjoying every moment, which is kind of called as, not kind of, it is actually called as mindfulness, because that is making you aware of every moment that you're living, or every moment that you're spending in that particular day, right? So this will help you, cut down on your boredom and look forward to something new that you can do every day. I hope I answered your question, Aditi. Am I audible? Is the connectivity there?
Ma'am, you're audible
Yes,
for me.
ma'am. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Okay, great, great. Shall we move on to next question?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm. Hi,
So,
Medha.
hi. Um, so one of the things that I guess most of the students are facing is on how to focus. Like when we're in a classroom, we're able to focus more efficiently, but at home when we're staring at one screen, like students tend to get distracted and they could tend to like play games with their cameras off and like, they're not being properly educated. So how can we focus more efficiently during class would be my
So
question.
great. So I have a lot of concerns because I had a few children. I had a few children whom I happened to counsel during this phase where, parents had concerns, including teachers, that, they're aware that students are logging out, or even though they are present, they are going on a different platform and, playing games, and which is kind of going off board of late. So that's why the only thing I would suggest here is there are breaks given during a particular, after a class time, right? You have 35 minutes or you have 40 minutes of class, 45 minutes of class, and then you have 15 minutes of break, and then you have another 45 minutes of class, if I'm not wrong. That's how it is working, right? Medha?
Well, ma'am, instead of 45 minutes, we have 1 hour of class and then we have 15 minutes break.
Okay, so what you can do is in that 15 minutes of break, try to, keep that 15 minutes as your bonus point. That should be your motivating factor of, okay, if I attend this class for 1 hour of class, 15 minutes, I'll just go play one game. I will relax, I'll play one game, and I'll just get back to my class, one more hour of class. And the motive or the reward for you should be that 15 minutes of break that you get after every class, so that you look forward to that 15 minutes to play your games, but also be mindful that you are studying in the given particular 1 hour, 45 minutes or 1 hour that you're getting during that particular time, right? And if not, see, our attention span is not very long, right? Eventually our attention span is maximum 30 minutes. As students, we can just pull it off up to 30 minutes. So you can also suggest that, teach, if you can give a feedback to teachers, or you can request them that if you could teach us for 30 minutes, and remaining in between 10 minutes you can have some fun session, or if you can have a trivia question based on the topic that you're teaching, it will kind of, motivate you not to move away from the class, because once you play trivia questions, you will eventually like the classes happening, be it trivia or be it kind of puzzles, or be it word building or anything related to that particular topic. So you need to see as to how creative as students you also can get in terms of providing ideas, because right now as teachers even we are very worried about the fact that we have to complete our portions in the given period of time. We have to make sure our students are understanding, we have to make sure they are getting the best that we can provide them. So with all of that stress, it's difficult for teachers to even think a little bit apart. If they are able to think, that is really good. But here, when there is a difficulty, you as children can step in and help your teachers by giving them ideas as to, ma'am, if we can do this in every class, it will be motivating, and probably that will reduce other students to play games instead of attending classes. So that should be their motivation factor. And make sure you catch hold of only those students, those who are, those who have a lot of tendency to go and play games at that particular time. So they'll also be very attentive that, oh no, what if I'm called out? So they will also get really attentive. I hope your question was, or concern was, uh, answered.
It did, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Medha. Let's move on to the next question.
So good evening, ma'am.
Good
So it's
evening.
been 6 months into the lockdown, and the first month went about us complaining that we can't meet our friends, be with our teachers, be with our relatives. And now that it's like 6 months, I guess, now it's like I don't know if I can socialize again, if I can, be the same with my friends, or are my friends changed, or have I changed, during this period? What would you say to get back the confidence of socializing?
Well, or you know what? Sometimes I feel that that question goes null and void once you just meet everyone. Okay, because sometimes we feel that how are we going to connect to our relatives, or how are we going to connect to our friends, whether the connection is going to be the same. But eventually when you meet, you will have so much to talk about that you will actually not remember that you have stayed away from them for such a long period of time. But even otherwise, this question is good in its own way, because sometimes we go into a comfort zone so much that it's difficult for us to move out. Sometimes a very outgoing person, is locked inside the room, and they feel okay, they have got their personal space. They are spending time with their family, they are spending time with themselves, trying to figure out what they want to do. And eventually when they know that they have to meet their folks again outside, and things like that, it can get overwhelming. But you have to be mindful and prepare yourself that way, that okay, now if we are meeting, how is it going to be? Of course initially it will be awkward, but then how you are going to make it fruitful is all in our hands, right? This one, I feel sometimes it's a boon and a bane for all of us, because we as students or we as children would always complain we never get time to spend with our parents, and our parents say we never get time to spend with our children. And this lockdown at least brought that gap, it kind of filled in those gaps, it kind of filled in those cracks where the complaint of not spending time with each other is no more. But rather sometimes we feel that, oh my god, I'm so done. But that's a different ball game altogether. Socializing, I always feel you should be mentally prepared. Try to convince or have a self talk as to, okay, fine, now meeting everyone, how am I feeling about it? How do I feel about it? Let me go out, maybe have a conversation with a very close friend of mine, and then slowly get to your group, right? But for youngsters, I'm pretty sure once you meet your group, it will all be what happened in the lockdown time, and the worry about socializing again will just go off in the air.
Thank you,
Knowing
ma'am.
Knowing you, Mahasweta, I don't think that should be a challenge, but you never know what can be a challenge, right?
Yes, exactly.
Good. Next question. Let's move on to next question. We have Satya, Sanya, and Sharanya remaining. So let's do one thing, okay? Instead of having this question answer session, why don't we do this? Why don't you three give us an idea as to how we can, as students, why don't you give me some ideas that we can try implementing in a classroom setup for having more interaction and active learning happening in class? Let's start with Satya.
So I have to tell why, like, measures to help online classes function better, like help children have a better time.
Yes,
I would say, like,
better
uh,
time, even better learning.
since online classes are happening on an online platform, some teachers tend to feel that it's not that much of a burden on us. Like they tend to sometimes they tend to pile on, and at one point it gets too much, both physically and mentally. So what I would say was not to make it such a serious environment, and like obviously some supervision and enforcement must be there, but like go easier on the deadlines, because it's not like we're sitting at home all free all the time either, because we have tuition, study time, we do have fun, but yeah, I would say like reduce the deadlines, make it easier on us just a little bit.
I don't think my question was answered. So my question or my the thing that I put forward to you was I would want you to give ideas how we can make it creative or how we can make the space very interesting and more of active learning. As students, your advice or your ideas towards teachers so that they can start implementing that, or they can do it once in a while just to ease down the whole rush through process.
Oh, yeah. One suggestion I would have was to like since, like, personally speaking, whenever we have these weekly revisions or tests, normally a written test would demotivate us, and many children won't even bother to submit it. But if it's an oral test, like a teacher one like focuses on student per student and asks them personally, like
Mm-hmm.
personally ask them questions, obviously children will have to answer, and they would be more captivated in what's happening in class. They would be like at the beginning of class, they would be ready with their answers, with
Mm-hmm.
potential questions. So when the teacher asks them, they'll be ready, they'll have fun preparing. And there are like several activities that we had even during normal school, like we had these role playing activities in English to help understand the chapter. In
Yes.
SST we had projects, so we can still do that in online classes. There's nothing restricting those. It's just that children have, including me, have lost a lot of motivation, since it's really like boring sitting at home staring into a screen for 4 hours.
Can absolutely understand. Thank you so much for providing us with this idea. Let's see if we can put it across. Let's see. No, in fact, I shall put it across to the teachers and let's see how we can work it out. Okay. We'll make sure that, every day of the learning process is a good process because every day is a new day. Every day is a learning for us as teachers and learning for you as children, right? Let's move on to Sanya.
So when the normal classes, the physical classes used to happen, we used to do so many activities. Well, now it's all online, like only the teacher teaches. So
Mm-hmm.
if we could like the students explain some parts which they know, it might be even more interactive because the teacher sometimes feel that only she is teaching and
Mm-hmm.
she herself feels frustrated. So it would be good if like students also could explain during classes, so even we get a um, experience of how the teachers feel when we are I mean, when they are teaching. So that would be a good idea.
Sure. In fact, that is a good idea from your side because, most of the time, as I said, it's really stressful for teachers also because they are teaching virtually for the first time because they're so used to doing face to face and the connectedness is so much that that connectedness is not felt. Eventually, it is as much stressing for teachers as much it is for you in terms of understanding, because when you are in a normal setup, what happens is you can approach the teacher anytime and ask questions or share your ideas. But in this situation, that is not happening, and it is mostly a one way process of just teacher teaching. And on the other hand, of course, the challenge for us is we are teaching a huge number of students at one go, right? That kind of becomes that not kind of, in fact, that is a challenge for teachers. But yes, let's see as to if we can put in this idea and bring in some change towards it, because uh, yeah, I guess that's the best I can put forward to you. Great, thank you so much, Sanya, for your question. Let's move forward to Sharanya.
So I don't really know what will make the classes more interactive or something, because the teachers are trying their best. In fact, in our classes, sometimes we are explaining, and still the connectiveness does not come. So I feel that sometimes we should just switch on our cameras and just talk about anything and everything
Mhm.
instead of just sitting in the class. I find it extremely boring, and just class after class you do it, and then after class you have more homework, this and that. So I
True,
feel just once in a while we should talk with friends, with our teachers, with our cameras on, so that we get the connectiveness which
true.
we are apparently missing now.
Absolutely right. And we shall put this across. So, the main motive for me, moving further on, the main motive for me to conduct today's session is that tomorrow, 10th of October, is World Mental Health Day, right? And this pandemic has brought in a lot of stress and a lot of changes in our environment, be it for young students like you or teachers like us, or our parents who were working really busy in their office, now working from home. The whole environment changes from one setup all to another setup where everyone is together trying to figure out what is happening. And this eventually has been super stressful, these 6 months, right? So, well, the theme of World Mental Health 2020 is not out yet, but our motive as a school was to connect with students to understand what is their, issues regarding virtual learning, and how we can help bridge that gap between teachers and students, and make sure that the learning as well as your mental health or your stress levels are regulated and not going up. And not, you guys should not feel that stress, and you guys should not feel that anxiousness in terms of, oh, I have to finish my notes, oh, I have to do this project, I'm not understanding anything, whom do I go to? So this initiative is taken for the reason that I can, as a counselor, school counselor, I can try to bridge the gap between you and the teachers, putting forward what were the concerns and what were the ideas, so that from my side I could help you, and from your side the ideas that you have presented to me, how I can put it forward, right? I hope this session was very nice. I hope you all liked it. Would anyone like to say anything, one or two words about how this session was? How did you feel about the whole session?
May I try,
Absolutely.
try to do that? Ma'am, I felt that this session was really helpful to just ease the pressure, and it's really helpful to know that there's someone out there from the school side who's willing to make the change that we all want to see. And it's been a really great opportunity to just tell you all of our problems, and then you help us to solve those problems. And I'm really thankful for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. This it was really nice because even I love how much I love interacting with students. I know that, and this virtual meets and things like that. Even though it can get challenging, but I'm happy at least I'm making the most of whatever is available with me, be it through technology or maybe once the pandemic is over, hopefully very soon, we get to meet each other and have the same fun that we used to have, we had online on the virtual platform, and look forward to how much more fun we can have with each other by also respecting and understanding as to what during this time the challenges have been for us, how we have faced the problems, how strong we have gotten, and to see forward as to if any other situations like this come, how we can go about. I would also like Joshini, if you could also say a few words.
Ma'am, like about what? About the session, ma'am?
Yes.
Like it was actually a really good session. Like we could find some answers to our questions, and like we could also find out how to make our classes more interesting
Mm-hmm.
so that we won't feel bored and all. And yeah, it was really good.
Nice. Why don't you put across two ideas or if you have any concerns?
Uh, yeah, so in classes, usually before, like in the physical class, we used to have like so many activities, and also the teacher used to take us to a AV room
Mm-hmm.
where there was a TV, and she used to show us videos about the chapters in history
Mm-hmm.
so that we would feel interest in seeing the video and understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So now the online classes are going on. So not only in history, in any chapter, like when they explain it, we feel bored at times. So if teachers show like some videos, like makes us like we will be interested in to see the video,
Mm-hmm.
like understand it better. So yeah.
So you are suggesting that during this, time during the virtual learning, you want them to show more videos related to the chapter?
Yeah, so that like sometimes they can teach us, and they
Mm-hmm.
can and in between like they can show us video so that we'll be interested in the class more, like we won't feel bored or
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Absolutely. This shall go forward to the teachers and let's see how we can work it out. Right? Thank you so much, everyone, for participating in this session of how learning, has become difficult without physical classrooms, but we are still coping up with the challenges and doing our best out of what is given to us. Right? Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a good weekend and all the best for your exams.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Have
you,
a
ma'am.
nice day.
Thank you,
Bye. Good
ma'am.
Thank
evening.
you so
Thank
much,
you
ma'am.
all.